Okay, welcome back to trigonometry. So here we are. We have to figure out the exact values of the sine of the inverse tangent of 48 over 55 plus the inverse sine of 35 over 37. And we have to use our sum of angles formulas in order to figure this out because the inverse tangent will give us back an angle, which I'm going to call A, and the inverse sine will give us back an angle, which I'm going to call B. Okay. You are not supposed to go ahead and do this with decimals. I want an exact value, which means you have to put this in a fraction. A decimal place, if you just plug this into the calculator and give it the decimals, this is going to give you 1 point out of the 10 that you're going to be able to get for this problem. So don't do that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw a little picture here. And we have a triangle A, and we're going to say that the tangent of this angle is equal to 48 over 55. Well, tangent is opposite over hypotenuse, opposite over adjacent rather. So we have 48 and 55 here. For B, go ahead and we'll label this one B. And we have sine of an angle, sine of B is equal to 35 over 37. This is opposite over hypotenuse. So this guy here is going to be 37. This one here is going to be 35. We have to finish off the triangles. Okay, so here's what we're going to do here. We have turn this guy on here, clear you. So we have a 48 squared plus a 55 squared. All right, let's see where, there we go, squared. All right, we'll see what that is. And then we'll take our square root of this thing. Just Pythagorean's theorem, and that's all we're going to do. It's a 73. Right. For the other triangle, we have 37 squared minus 35 squared. Okay. And we ended up with 144. That's 12 squared. So I can know that this angle here is 12. So the next thing I'm going to do is say, well, we've got sine of A plus B. Okay, sine of A plus B. Well, what's that going to do for us? Well, I know that sine of A plus B is equal to the sine times the cosine of the second plus, so sine, cosine of the first, sine of the second. So sine, cosine, cosine, sine. All right. And then I'm just going to refer to my triangles that I have here and figure out what's going to happen in this thing. So I know that this is sine of A plus B. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to say this is my A triangle. So the sine of A is going to be 48 over 73. Cosine of B is going to be 12 over 37 plus, and here we have the cosine of A, which is going to be 55 over 73, and then the sine of B, which is going to be 35 over 37. This is exactly the same number that I have up here, which is fine, okay? And then we have so a little bit of arithmetic to go deal with here, okay? So what are we going to do next? We're going to say this is going to be 48 times 12. It's going to be 576, okay? So here we have 576 plus, they're all going to be common denominators. That's kind of a nice thing. This is going to be 55. I'm sorry, not 22. What, 55? Nope. There we go. Let me get 55 here, 55 times 35. And we'll say that's going to be 1925 number on the other denominator, 1925 here, right? And then the last thing I have to do, these are both the same common denominators, 37, or I'm sorry, 73 times 37. We're going to see 37, 37, 7 times 73. 37 times 73. That's interesting, Pile right? Yep. And that was 2701. So here we go. 2701. So the last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add these two pieces together. So I have 576 plus 1925 equals, we have 2501? Yeah, 2501 over 2701. Right? Now, I don't think these things actually have a problem. So we can go ahead and say 2501 divided by, you don't have to do this, 2701 equals, and then what I'm going to do is go to my math function and say fraction and go ahead and convert this to a fraction to see if I can do it. It doesn't. So it's just that fraction. So my answer for this problem, the exact value, is going to be 2501 over 2701. And that's what we're going to report as an answer. Okay. So when I do these problems, They're almost always Pythagorean triples, so they come out to be nice values. You don't have to do extra stuff with them. But the answer that you're going to have to give me is going to be a fraction, 2501 over 2701, not a decimal. That's not an exact value. Okay. If you tried to do that, again, we can go back to the decimal places here. Eventually, this is going to repeat. I'm not seeing a repeating decimal here, right? But it will repeat because it's a rational number. But this 10-digit value here, this 8-digit value, that's not the exact value. This is the exact value. So be really careful about that. So if you just punch it into the calculator and say, hey, we can just do that. Like I know you can manipulate a calculator. I know you can do this. That's not the point of the problem. The point of the problem is to have you guys deal with the triangles and to know how to deal with the sum and difference of the identities for sine and cosine. That's the point. So if you're doing with the calculator, just say, okay, we'll plug this into the calculator, we'll plug this in the calculator, add the two angles together, take the time of it. Like that's not going to get you any credit. So be really careful about that. Don't take that shortcut. It's not going to get you anywhere. You have to go through and draw the triangles out and give me a sine of a plus b kind of an idea here. Okay. So be careful with this problem. Good luck. Thank you for joining me on the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.